Hello, I'm Dr. Gabrielle and I want to speak with you about erotic power play. Today, Master M and his slave wife Kelly are here with me again. And I wanted to ask you about this master-slave type relationship that seems a bit unusual, and I wonder how it works for you.
We were talking about dominance and submission, and you know, there are varying degrees of ways that people can participate in dominant submissive relationships. We started out as a very scene-oriented relationship where when we were together for a specific period of time, she would be submissive to me, and we would put this collar would go on her when she came over, and we started the scene, and at that point I was dominant, she was submissive, and then we'd take the collar off at the end of the scene and she'd go off and no longer really being submissive to me.
And that was about 5 years ago, something like that?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And that changed over time to where even between scenes, in here and in here, she was submissive to me. And in here and in here, I was the dominant at all times. And we eventually went to the lock and chain type collar, where I had the key, and she wore this for quite a while, but now we have this as our symbol, and this doesn't come off without a special tool, and she wears it constantly because in here and in here she is constantly in service to me.
Mm-hmm. How does that work for you, Kelly?
It seems like a really natural thing for me. I think I've always been someone who feels good about doing something for someone else, and like you said, in my heart, that just seems natural for me to do that with him. I love him. We're very much in love.
The marriage you're in with Master M, it seems to work very well for you. You both seem very happy. How does it work for you being his slave? Does that mean you're submissive in all other parts of your life?
I have a very strong personality. I'm not a weak person at all. But when it comes to my relationship with this man, for me, just to give all of myself, my heart, my body, my soul to him and submit to him and be in service to him, that's just something that comes very natural for me to do.
And you feel safe doing that?
I do, because we've built up, you know, as he has said, we've sort of built up the level of our relationship over the years, from just playing to being best friends to falling in love to taking it to the level of master-slave. And I totally trust him with my life, and he has done a good job of taking great care of me on the level of, you know, the mental level, I think.
Because I get requests and concerns a lot from women who have fantasies of being submissive, wanting to be submissive to a man if they're heterosexual, or to a woman if they're gay. But it appears to be a conflict with the political view of how women should be in terms of feminism, in terms of empowerment. You come across as a very empowered and powerful woman, and yet you are his slave. So what is your take on that? Is there a contradiction here, or what would you recommend?
Well, yeah, that does seem to be a myth, like you said. That's no way true. Any submissive or slave that I've ever met is they're tough people. This is not an easy thing to do, to hand over everything about yourself to someone else.
You have to have a sense of self before you can give it up, perhaps.
Yeah, you do. Although I think that I have a stronger sense of self now than I did before we started this relationship. He's really helped me to build confidence in myself.
Because
even though I started out pretty confident, but that's reinforced.
That's interesting. So the fact that, well, you're also in a very happy marriage here, so that probably gives you a nice platform to stand on too.
Well, it makes the level of trust even higher, I think, too. You know, I know, because not only a lot has to do with, I think, that he loves me and cares a great deal about me, and I feel the same way about him. So,
And you have helped women or people in general who have desires or fantasies of wanting to play with dominance and submission but don't know much about it. I understand you have helped them in personal meetings or can you talk a little bit about that?
yeah, we've had a couple of times where people have actually approached us about their curiosity about whether they are submissive or not. What they don't really understand this part of themselves. How could they submit to somebody? How could they let somebody, use their body, flogging, or hand over their consent to something with that other person for whatever reason?
Yeah, it's a serious thing to do.
So we usually just tell our story, and I'll tell them my story, and they can see that I'm a normal person. This is what has made me happy, and usually we get a lot of questions about similar to what you're asking, and they either go away going "that's not me," or they go totally relate.
Well, thank you very much. That was very enlightening to me and hopefully to you. And this will be it for today. Goodbye for now.